Again, round of applause. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum. You all may be seated. For those of you that invited me here, I thank you all. For those of you that actually showed up, thank you for coming. I hope this evening you get something that you've been looking for that will end your search for the expansion of life. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want to speak this evening a little about belief. How many is the first time being in my presence or hearing anything of me? So I'm new to you all. All right. Well, this is my second time here. I think I was here a couple of years ago, and we had a little showing event. However, those that were here a couple of years ago, now brothers has invited you all here because they have seen some of the things that I said then has taken place. So it's caused them to come out of belief into knowing. I see on some of you all's faces, maybe you're wondering or pondering over my appearance. If you know anything about Scripture, I'm just as I'm supposed to appear. This is natural. As Scripture reads, and you know God always says what He's going to do before He does it. So, if you want to read Revelation, you want to find out just exactly how God is to appear at this particular time. It's not the one where it's talking about with the white hair and burnt breast, skin, however, but the Lamb that was slain from the foundation of the earth. I'm saying these things because I really would like for you to get some of the simple things out of the way. So you will be able to understand this is for real. This is for real. It's not something that I'm trying to make myself be, or I'm trying to get followers because I don't have followers. The main thing that we have got to do is be able to think and think accurately. And the only way you can think accurately, you've got to have a firm foundation. You've got to have a base. And the base has got to be true. If it's not true, regardless of what you think on, it's going to end up to be false. You're not going to be right. So in that time, well, let's put it this way. This time, it's too late to be thinking and come up with the wrong thoughts or the wrong equation. It's too late. There's so many of you all, especially the young brothers. I say young brothers more so than the sisters because if we get it together or when we get it together, the sisters don't have no choice. They will have to get it together because we're their man. However, as long as we're not, we're just their males, you'll never have your woman. You'll never have her. The man always has her. Getting back to, how many are here that was with the messenger? That's all? You were with the messenger?
Under. Let's say under or with.
Right, I mean, you look a little young for that. All right. Well, I want to speak a little bit about belief, and especially those that were under the messenger's teachings and whatnot. You have an opportunity when you come to the mic and question me, because really those are the ones that I have really come after first. Now, those that are not familiar with the messenger, as he should be familiar with, if you like what you see me do, then it would be wise if you come and be with me. You know, it's one thing to believe and don't have no real facts to confirm your belief. And it's another thing to have an opinion and have no real facts to confirm your opinion. Just because you are free to think or say what you want to say to your own self doesn't mean that it's always accurate. Now, as far as Islam is concerned and what the messenger taught, and we've had some other people that started Islam or the base of it, the Eastern persuasion, that was not for us and it still is not for us. The black man here in North America, Allah raised up a man for us. He brought a message, and the message is for us. not necessarily him. He was for us while he was here, but we took him away. However, the message didn't go no place. Now, for all of us that has been thinking after the messenger passed in 1975, much of them, at least 7 out of 10 of everyone that was with the messenger, thought or they believed that Wallace was the one. Now it's been 20-some years. 20-some years. The black man is in worse condition than it was when the messenger passed. So regardless of what we think of him, his time that he's been in operation has proven it is not for the black man. There's nothing you can do with reading the Quran, praying 5 times a day, and then you're going to operate in this system. You'll never get no place. This is why every person or every nation, God had to raise up one from that nation. And nobody here in North America, no one, or God had not sent no one here in North America. White folks came over our land and took us and brought us here, but no holy man, no man from God had ever came until the raising up of Elijah. Now, after the messenger passed, and we went through this test that Ward Dean took us through for 3.5 years, the ones that was actually under the messenger's teaching, and if they did not go with him, then here comes the reminder. Minister Louis Farrakhan, 1980, he stands up and he proclaims he's going to rebuild the nation. It's been 20-some years. You think about it. If you're still thinking that's the man, and that's the way it's supposed to go, you had enough time now to confirm your thinking. Is or is it not? And we can't see anything other than talk that has been, not is, but been good for our people. And the talk has been confronting the enemy of us to let them know that they're wrong according to what God said. They're wrong. But they didn't change. And it was nothing that was said to us or to you that changed you. Because there was no place for you to actually go and participate as a man, not as a follower. A man is never a follower. He can't be. If you follow, you're not a man. You know, if you have boy children, when they're boys, they're supposed to be with the follower, not so much following him, but be with him. And he's supposed to conduct himself in such a way that his son will grow up to be able to grow from him and start his own family. That's just the law of nature. So it's the same thing with anyone that is claiming to bring God to you. They must express to you in such a way that you owe them no allegiance. They got to show you a formula the same way the father does the child. If the child has loved the father and the father is doing what is right, the child, just by being in the presence, will learn. And the father never has to say, well, you got to learn this, you got to learn that, you got to learn the other. Just he do it. And the child being around, they'll learn. This is somewhat of the same thing that has to happen with us today. I have a nation. You all don't know me yet. I don't have any followers. However, what I'm doing is bringing in an activity for you to be able to practice what you learn. And I'm protecting the area to make sure when you come to do that, no one can hurt you. I mean, this outside world, this Caucasian, these laws and things that he has you under, if you're with me, they don't apply to you in a way where they have mastery over you. Are you all listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope this is getting on the tape. You know, if a man cannot think a thing, he cannot do it. And it appears that up until now, all of the thinking that we've been doing haven't brought us into success. Everybody is still groping in poverty. And the first poverty is your thinking. The black man is naked. He don't even have a fig leaf. He's naked in the way of knowledge. You may know how to build buildings, maybe even know how to fly airplanes. That's good. But that comes second. What should come first? You have to know what's going to please your very nature. Are you in accord with nature, the way God set it up? So with whatever you do, or wherever you fly, or wherever building you build, it's not an offense against God. The way it is today, just you doing nothing, walking down the street, is an offense to God. Because you're not expressing Him. God is independent. And it would look like God is on white folks' side. They seem to be independent. But the real man, you're not independent. Because you have not yet accepted what it would take for you to be independent. We want to take everything other than what God had sent to us. He raised a man up. The man stayed here 40 years. 40 years. And most of the ones that was with him after the messenger passed, you didn't teach your children. You didn't teach them nothing. You let white folks still have them, and now they don't want nothing to do with Islam. Nothing. It's a shame. However, now, this person that's coming now before us, styled as Solomon, and if I do what is documented or prophesied that Solomon would do, you're going to be independent. How many of you all have ever read anything concerning Solomon in any literature? I would suggest that you go and look it up. It starts off, if you look in the Bible, it starts off in Kings, First Kings, and goes in Corinthians, 3 or 4 different places. Then in the Quran, you just look under the word Solomon. It'll tell you what chapter and verse to look under and see what it speaks about. It always speaks about Solomon as being wise. And in the Bible, this is the only place that I read, the only person that I have documents of or read in the Bible or Quran where God asked Solomon a question. Most everybody else is asking God. But God came and asked Solomon, what would you have me to give you? He said, I would have you to give me knowledge, wisdom, understanding, so much so that I would be able to discern right and wrong for your people. And you are His people. In this country here, there is no other greater people on the planet than right here in North America. No other people. And no one is setting up anything for you other than myself. We have a nation that's actually started. If you check it out, you won't find no wrong. But it appears as though we've been basking in Islam the way that it's been presented to you so long that you don't see no power or strength in it. It looks like the preachers got more strength than what Islam has. But you can't get nothing going. And I don't care how much you get going, how many businesses you have. If it's not in the sense of a nation, you still enslaved to this man. You still enslaved to him. I don't care how many preachers, how many shelters they come up with, whatever they come up with, is still operating under the same laws and principles of this man. So if you want to be like him, then you're going to die his death. And it's written in the Holy Quran that he's fuel for the fire, meaning that the fire is the last thing that comes this particular time in the way of destruction. However, it's highly possible that you're going to be living when the fire comes. It's one thing to be drowned. That's not so bad a death. However, to burn, that's terrible. Are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Are you?
Yes, sir.
Well, we still need food, clothing, and shelter. And the first thing we need is to know how to do it. Not go do it for somebody else as a job. That's why we are a whole people, a whole nation of people. We don't act like it. We're still begging somebody else. Whatever you want now. We in this college here, black people don't own this college. Do they?
No, sir. No, sir.
What car dealership do we own? What hotel in this whole country does black people own? Not one. In this whole country, 2,000 by 3,000, not one hotel. You see? But we are whole people. And if the book reads, you got to come out of her. This Babylon, this modern Babylon, you got to come out. If you don't have something to go to, where you going to go? How you going to come out? If you don't have the right thinking, how are you going to come out? You can't find the door. And the ones that was with the messenger had the lessons, I think in the problem book, lesson number 32, he was walking up and down searching for years trying to find the door. At least 400 years trying to find the door. You all know about the lion in the cage? This means you, black man. And nobody was able to get you up out of this grave except Solomon. It's already written. However, the understanding has never been given. It's always been guessed at. White folks know. Why don't you? Because he makes sure you won't know. He's the one that everything you read and write, he wrote it. And if a black man wrote it, he wrote it because of what he studied or what white folks wrote. You don't have no original scrolls. You don't have it. So, in order for us to say that we God, we're going to come up out of this and be God without his knowledge. In this fact alone, he's going to have to bear witness. Like it reads, the Queen of England or the Queen of Sheba came to pose hard questions to the Solomon. You don't read that no place else. They didn't come to pose hard questions to Jesus Christ. Don't even mention him. What they did with Solomon. So all of you are thinking, a few brothers, I was here once, just one time, and what I spoke, it was just a few brothers, and out of the few, one or two had enough listening power to say, this brother is worth my investigation. So now you see 3 or 4 of them here. But Denver's filled up with black people. What are you producing for yourself? And I don't mean to come across to you like Minister Farrakhan, saying we need to pool our resources and we need to do this, we need to do that, and we need to start businesses. That's not what we need. Yes, we do need to pool our resources. However, you got to pool your resources based on a single idea. And the idea has got to be where it makes you independent and free. Not just to have a business. Not just for you to go to work and make money so you can take care of your family. No, not that kind of way. We got to have something from the ground up. And the first thing you got to have is knowledge. Number one. That's number one you got to have is knowledge. Outside of that, whatever you come up with is already, somebody's already doing it. I'm supposed to bring about the knowledge that the other man don't know. So if he don't know it, how can he stop us? I got the knowledge. I got a wealth, a library of tapes. All you have to do is get in touch with us, order whatever tape you like. If you don't know, just order a tape and listen to it. And besides that, we got our own land. And we're going to be getting more. We have our own transportation. These things you may be used to. However, you're not used to it by you doing it. Black people own it. Black people do everything with it. They plant it, they harvest it, they deliver it, they store it, they process it, they pass it out or go around the nation with our transportation system to make sure the ones that want it, that's already with us, have it. And it's increasing. And we do not operate on the base of money. You all hear me?
Yes, sir.
We do not operate on the base of money. As long as you do that, you're in somebody else's mercy. We operate on the base of knowledge. What we do as the money comes in, it goes so far, it gets right to the outer edges. It never gets in. Once you come in full time with us, you never have to handle money. However, you work all of the businesses. If you handle it, it's because you're a cashier. As far as you personally, everything you need, the nation provided for you. Until we get large enough, you can have your own independent things. First, we got to grow to that. We got to grow to independence as a people. Then you as a person, as a member of these people, can be independent. Until that is done, you can forget it. You will go to hell with this man. And it's already written. I'm not saying something new. This is already documented. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Am I?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not going to speak a long time. The Sister National Secretary, I think she spoke to you all for a while. Coming through this particular area, we have very few people here. I don't have a minister here. We have someone here that is head of a study class. So he's not a minister. So the people that I brought with me, Sister Secretary is not a minister either. So she spoke a few things just to bring me on, or to somewhat introduce me to you. I'm going to open up the floor so I can answer some of it. Do you all have questions for me? You do have questions? One thing, don't be nervous. You're not going to find a better brother than me. They don't exist. They do not exist. You're not going to find a better person. You're not going to find a person that is more knowledgeable than me. They don't exist. And I'm not bragging. I got a mic there. You can come up and question for yourself and see. There's very few meetings that I know of you can go to, especially if it's talking about something that is divine, something that is going to happen and happening for us as a people, and you permitted to ask questions. You can go to town hall and ask them questions, give your opinion and whatnot. However, in this, when they start talking about God himself, what his plans is, what he's doing, how is he God, why is he God, what's going to happen to you, and whatever else you want to know, what is the ant doing? Nobody has to let you do it because they can't answer the questions. So it's wise that they don't. They just come and give you a lecture and they go. They ask you to give money, to take the money and go. You don't see nothing from it no more. And I don't have to ask you is it true because I've done the same thing. Cain gave money. I never seen what happened to him. If what did happen with it, it never served me. Never. You know, the messenger was styled as David in the Bible. And with David, he had two sons, two pronounced sons. One Adonijah and one Solomon. Wait till they come in and sit down. In order for all these things that's in the scripture to make sense, there has to be a fullness of it. There has to be a fullness. You cannot read the Bible and say, well, this is history, and that happened. If it happened, the conclusion of it never took place. It's written about Solomon being so wise that nobody after him would have his wisdom. If that's true, when we were talking about Solomon, we weren't talking about spacecraft. This white man's going out into space. And you never heard any wisdom from Solomon that they wrote. They just said he was wise. He told somebody to cut a baby in half, and if that's the extent of the wisdom, it should have never been mentioned. So it could not have meant they were talking about that particular Solomon. It had to be a fulfillment of that, a period put to it. Am I making sense? So today, at a time where it's absolutely needed, not a person, what is really needed is knowledge. You've got to have, you've got to. If I got all the knowledge myself and I can't express it to you, where you start getting it and something happens to me, you finish. You finish. So today, it don't mean how much money you got. You can see Michael Jackson got a lot of money. Oprah Winfrey got a lot of money. She ain't helping you. Michael's not helping you. You help them because you constantly spending your money to them. But the problem still isn't solved. And I hear about what's happening with the nation around the country and here also. You know, it's a disheartening thing if you're speaking with someone and they're so set on ignorance. There's nothing you can do. Regardless of what type of knowledge you share, 1 + 1 is 2, and they will argue with you. It don't have to be 2. Well, what does it have to be? It could be 2.5. Or it could just be 1. You know, and this is the God now. Black man is God, whether you know it or not. You are God. Ain't no other people on the planet is God like you are. The opposite of he's God, but he's God of evil. He's God of wrong. He's the God of it. He's mastered it. You ain't mastered it. You do wrong, but you do it crazy. So he's the master of it, so he come and arrest you anytime he gets ready. Because you stumbling and fumbling in it. But he cannot be God of right. He can't be that. And right always has power over wrong if right has somebody to stand up and be right. So the person that is designed by nature to do that is you. But you won't stand up. You'd rather think that you steal your own person to person and argue with knowledge. Minister Farrakhan was a helper to Moses. He was a helper to David. With David, he styled as Adonijah. With Moses, he styled as Aaron. But he himself was not greater than either one of them. So when you think of him, why you think of him is because his teacher. And he was to go so far just to be a reminder, like an alarm clock in the morning reminds you to get up. After it does that, it can't make you get up. Even if you get up, it can't dress you. It can't tell you what to do, where to go, how to go. It can't do that. It only wakes you up. That's all. And you got to bear witness for 20-some years. He's been here. What are you doing? The only thing he could have done was woke you up. Brought you back into, well, what Elijah taught is true. And here's someone that's supposed to come after Elijah. It's styled, what Elijah said, this person is styled as a powerful son of truth. Powerful son of truth. And in the Message to the Black Man, I think it's 308, the Message to the Black Man, the message said it would be so. He's supposed to know all this so he could tell you who to look for when he finished. So he alarmed, he brought everybody back into what the messenger said, white folks and black people. But since he didn't do what he was supposed to do, he went right in and right back out. Now I got to come and do it myself. I got to speak to you, people that don't know me, don't trust me. So it's making it extremely difficult for me to get across to you what's got to be done. Because you done heard all this before. We got to get together. We got to come together. We're still saying it. Ain't nobody did it but me. And the only reason why you don't know it because you ain't checked me out. I'm actually bringing you together as one. I'm that powerful son of truth. I'm bringing you together as one. And once you get together, nobody can take you apart because it's not about flesh. It's about intelligence. And once you got it, can't nobody take it from you. And I'm not talking about how to build an atom, how to crack an atom. I'm not talking about that. Not that kind of knowledge. However, you will gain that. That's the only thing going to bring you together. What we're doing today in Kansas City, Kansas, right across the line from you all. We got a nation started. It's in the heart of the country. And I'm protecting it. We got started there with nothing. Because nobody was giving us nothing. The messenger got the base of it started. He provided the money, not me. The messenger. Now, the city is so intrigued at what we're doing. They have brought their children in from the school break, from the summer, and they have put them with us And they are paying them to work with us because we don't pay nobody. They're putting the children of the neighborhood with us. Ain't nobody else doing that in the country. Ain't no black organization where the city is putting the children with them. It ain't happening. And they're coming and seeing us every time they see us and come and check us out. I'm talking about the people, what they call that's in power, are amazed at what we're doing, more so how we're doing it. They can't fathom that because they think everybody's supposed to be money crazy. But you do have some people that is knowledge. They want knowledge. And then someplace to go put their hands on it and actually do it, and they're doing it right so nobody can stop it. Am I making sense to you? I haven't spoke to you because this is the second time here. This is the first time I'm meeting you. So I'm trying to give you some type of activity as to what we're doing. In order for me to do this, I got to have knowledge. I got to. We got a trucking system that runs from coast to coast. Our brothers drive it. I'm looking for drivers because I'm running one or two to drive and just running them to death because y'all won't come. The brothers that's working, we have a warehouse system where we warehouse our things. We have farmland. And the farmland that we have now on the East Coast, the brothers are there working and the sisters every day. We have an independence program that's coming on for the 4th of next month. Most of them won't come. They said they don't want to come. They want to stay there and make sure everything is right. I'm not making them stay. Just for the fact of being in something that's right. They choose this for themselves. Well, you understand what I'm saying? This is yours. I'm not here to give this to nobody else. And if you don't accept it, you're going to go the same way this white man is. There's no choice in this. It's not even debatable. It ain't nobody after me that's going to come and say anything or do anything. This is it. This is it. I'm the one that's bringing in the judgment. I don't know how to say it any plainer until you ask me what you want to know. But this is it. If you look, Warwick Dean, you very seldom hear of him, except for the ones that's right with him. You don't hardly even see him. Minister Farrakhan's like he just died off. He's gone. It's finished. He's outlived his time. And to try to make us merge into an Eastern expression of Islam, that's 1,400 years backwards for us. If that's what Allah intended for us to do, we would have been had the Quran. It's not for us. If we were supposed to have the Quran, well, then Allah would have lied. He raised up a prophet, a messenger for everybody, but when he got to us, he raised one up, he sent a book. You see? Do you see? Is this making sense? Well, if it's not, when you come up, you're respectful. I'll be more than glad to answer whatever you have to say concerning that. I'm not saying that the Quran is wrong. I'm saying it is not for you. If you study it and do what it suggests that you do, it makes you a better lamb for this wolf here. Because this man don't operate under the Quran, the laws of the Quran. He don't do that. And since he don't, and you are, you're a fat lamb for him. The people that God expects to obey the Quran, he made them fashion their government from the base of the Quran. So their whole government starts off from the base of the Quran. So the people ain't got no excuse. But here, you in this country, this man don't care nothing about the Quran. He don't care nothing about God, period, because he's God. So if you try to live it, you in the wrong country. You should go in the East. Here, you got to go by what God raised up as far as the messenger and what you were supposed to expect. He said, the messenger said, after me comes God himself. I am here. I might not look the way you think I should be. But you don't get nobody else. Everybody else has been, nobody's been coming before you telling you they are God, have they? And doing something. I know some brothers come and told me they're God too. I asked them 2 questions they couldn't answer. I know they couldn't. But I'm not to be smart with the brother. I just wanted the brother to know you're not God. You may be a God, a godly person, but you're not the God that Scripture talks about, the prophecy talks about, that's got to come at this time to make sure you come out with great substance. And before you come out with great substance, you've got to get some knowledge. We're not giving no dummies nothing. As long as we remain ignorant, you can't have nothing because you won't know how to treat it. It'd be like throwing pearls to swine. That's exactly what it would be like. I know, and this isn't easy. This isn't easy. Especially y'all, I don't get no money from you. If everyone that's with me, they don't get the money, I don't either. I got to be first. I got to do and they see me doing. I get what I need. That's all. If I don't need it, why have it? It's a burden. I don't have to get a whole lot of things saved up and put up for a rainy day. I'm controlling the days, if it rains or not. For real. For real. So I don't have to do that. And if you're with me, it'll be just as it is written, you'll be the peacemakers. In order to bring peace, you got to have knowledge. Not coming like this country do. We're the peacemakers, but they come in with bombs and planes and tanks. You know, it's frightening you into not making war. But if you're going to be a peacemaker for real, you got to have knowledge, real knowledge of God and God's power so you can use it. That's what you got to do, black man. That's what you got to do. And you're not going to get it no place else other than with me in the United Nation of Islam. I'm prophesied to do what I'm doing. I can't do nothing else but this. So would you all like to ask some questions then? If so, I'm going to open up the floor so you can come and we'll get into a little knowledge. And maybe if you ask a question, you won't forget the answer. So when you go home, you'll have something. All right? So this is sisters or brothers, whoever that has a question you want to ask me, I'm more than happy to, yes sir, go to the mic and ask the question. Only thing I ask that you be respectful. And whatever you want to know, whatever, ask it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I had the opportunity to listen to your tapes the last time that you were here in Denver 2 years ago. I was kind of disappointed that I missed the meeting because, it's different listening to a tape than actually being here. The question that I wanted to ask is that, actually it's a series of questions. Am I just allowed to ask one?
Well, you can ask until you start seeing people behind you.
Okay. How long did you know that you was Allah?
How long? Well, that I actually knew was 1978. I was told by other people that I didn't believe or I didn't think that they really knew. So I didn't take it as being a fact. However, when I was actually shown this by the angels or the scientists, as the messenger talked about, then I had to, I knew then. Let me put it this way. I was told in an authoritative manner from them, people that run the planet. So I had to take it as being true that what they were saying. However, still, as far as me knowing it, I hadn't did enough for me to say, yes, I am. I would have to say, they said it. Now, after I got to practice, got into it and whatnot, and I started using it, I started saying, yeah, I see. And then I started saying, yes, I am. And that came along in about the mid-'80s.
Okay, I heard you make reference to the Quran about that it was for the, I guess you were saying it was for the Arabs. And did Allah reveal the Quran?
Yes, sir, he revealed it through Prophet Muhammad. However, it was for them. What had happened, the Caucasian had already been given scripts and scrolls as to what they were to do and how they were to behave. But they took and changed it. So since they changed it and wouldn't give it to their people the way God gave it to them, so then God said, well, okay, since you didn't give it to your people, I'm going to give it to the people that you think is nothing. Your own kind, but you desert rats, so to say. I'm going to give it to them. So he didn't give it to them in those scripts and scrolls. He revealed it through this man. And other people wrote down what he said.
On your on your tape here last time when you was here in Denver, there was a particular part where you were explaining the essence of Allah and the essence of the devil or the shaitan, Satan. And you said that the essence of God wasn't physical. And you said the essence of the devil or Satan wasn't physical. You said, but the men do the work of the devil. That's what makes them the devil, the white man, but they weren't actually the shaitan. And could you explain that to me about the essence of God?
Yes, sir. When the Quran, you speak as though you know a little bit about the Quran, right? You study the Quran?
Yes, sir.
Well, when it talks about shaitan and speaks about the jinn and whatnot. Well, this is like when it talks about the unseen, the real power and the real energy and the real knowledge is always unseen. The same as a thought. You never see a thought. You can see the impressions of it. You know, if you're looking at a person, they sitting doing nothing, you can almost say they ain't really thinking about nothing. If a thought comes to them, they don't have to say anything, but the thought made them react. But you still didn't see the thought. So the reality of God himself is not seen that way. It has to take on flesh and blood for you to actually see it with the physical eye. Because now you're looking physically. However, the body itself is not the God or the Allah. Neither is Satan. Satan is an unseen person also. Now, he's here in the flesh now. That's one person being Satan. However, the people that are by nature devil, these people work for him. They are not him. It's the difference between devil and Satan. Satan is one. Allah is one. However, the people that is Allah, or that's with him, that is his direct family, are called gods of the Most High. Or they can be called Allahs also. But Allahs, but not Allah. So the same thing it is with Satan. Satan has people that is by nature worked for him. They are called devils. But they are not Satan.
So if you are saying that you are Allah, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, should we worship?
No, sir. No, sir. That's what has been wrong with everything today. If you worship flesh and blood, that's a boundary. You can't go no further than that flesh and blood that you see. That's why so many brothers get tied up with their wives and they can't get away. Because you worshiping your wife or you just love her so much. The black man, the essence of you is ideas. You don't worship nothing. You practice. You put in motion. You love what ideas, if you got a good idea or a perfect idea and you bring about the things that's going to actually bring it out into the scene where it will serve you, it will make you love that idea. I love the possibility that you can come up and do this. But never a person that do you worship. No one is to worship me. If you're going to do anything, even if you say, well, I know that he's Allah. The only thing I want you to do is learn how to think. That's all. Once you learn how to think, if you don't know, I'm going to share the formula with you. And once you learn the formula, then you will be God. You won't be looking to me. The only time you look to me for anything is if you come up with something and you're stumped. Then you say, oh Allah, I need the answer to this. I got to have it. Then if you know me personally, you can say, Brother Royall or Solomon, I got to have it. I got to give it to you.
And last question. I haven't heard the tape, I haven't seen the video, but I was told that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was back in I guess in a reincarnated state, or I don't know how to call it. And that's my last question. I'll sit down and let somebody else.
All right, well, you want to know, is he back?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He most certainly is. I brought him back. We raised up the messenger and we promised to give him at least 144,000 black men, or what we call stars, that will be with him. And in the Bible it reads that we've seen 144,000 going to heaven with their Lord. And it said going with Allah. They were going to heaven with their Lord. Well, their Lord is Elijah, the ones that actually came under his teaching and that is still living, like it reads in the Bible. When the messenger would pass, and by the time he'd come back and get this thing going, whatnot, the youngest person that was with the messenger will be from 33 years on up. That's why I asked, I said, you look like she's too young. But he's back. He couldn't come back. I had to bring him back. And that's why the messenger himself stated in the message to the black man, if it pleases Allah, I will be back when Allah comes. I'll be back with him.
I heard Minister Farrakhan say that Elijah Muhammad was on the mothership. Is that true? Did you bring him from there, or?
Oh, no, sir. No, well, I can say this. The entity of him was there for a while. However, the body of him, no, sir, it's been right here. It came through the womb of a woman just like everybody else. The messenger, now, when I said I brought the messenger back, I did not bring back Elijah Muhammad as we knew him to be. We have his body and we petrified it to make it last as long as this earth. So when this thing really gets going, everybody going to want to look and say, who got this started? They can go look up on it. This is the little man that got it started. However, that's why when they say Jesus came back, he had 12 disciples. Not one of the 12 could identify him. But it wasn't Jesus because he was in a different body. Jesus never came back. The fullness of that was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's the real fullness of the Jesus. He's back. And all those 70-some ministers that he had that supposed to have been so powerful, including Minister Farrakhan, could not recognize him.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Walaikum
salam.
I was also one that missed the opportunity to see you the first time.
Yes, sir.
Listen to your tapes, and I even got the opportunity to go to heaven last July. Pardon me. And that was a fascinating experience.
Yes, sir.
Amazing. My first question for understanding is the first striking thing that has appeared before me is the 7-pointed star. Can you give me the understanding on that?
Oh, yes, sir. It only means a degree of knowledge in what we're operating in. The white folks operating a 5-point, the Jews operating in a 6-point, and we starting off. Because I'm giving knowledge that a lot of Jews know a lot of what I'm saying. They don't know a few things I haven't said they don't know. More than a few. So what I'm doing, just starting off, I'm starting off with a higher knowledge than what they're operating in. So we're starting with 7, since the number of the new God is 7. So we start off with that. The star in the flag represents justice. If you don't have no knowledge, you can't administer justice. So just by me telling you and being able to answer your questions and answer them accurately, I'm making it possible where you can be freed of things that you need to know. So that's justice.
Yes, sir. Another question for understanding. I viewed the video of bringing the messenger back.
Yes, sir.
And I saw you motion that the veil of hypocrisy, if I'm not mistaken, will be lifted from the Muslims in the Nation of Islam in 1, 2, 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Could you give me the math or the understanding on how that took place in the 3 weeks, or just give me the understanding? Being in the desert in Denver, I didn't get to see the physical part of that.
Yes, sir. Well, what has got most people maybe a little confused, what I said within 20 is in error. Now, the thing, from what he's been doing from that time, before the 21 days was up, from what he did up until now, will show that he's not for the messenger, he's not for you. Nobody has to come and say it. He's speaking louder against himself than anyone else could speak. So that didn't happen before because I was somewhat protecting him. Still hoping. You might say, well, God hoping? Yes, to a degree, yes. I was hoping that the man would see, come into real knowledge and allow himself to really be wise and get the thing really moving. No. He already knew. And all of you all that's here today, I would strongly urge that you come to this 4th of July celebration that we're going to give. I'm going to go, my topic is going to be from zero to God. I'm going to tell some things, some intimate things. It might be good for you to know. However, what I did when I said the 21 days, I made sure that he showed who he really is.
Yes, sir. One final question. From one of the tapes I listened to, you spoke of the Asians, you slanted their eyes because of they didn't want freedom from God, or they didn't want to deal with God any longer.
Or the Chinese.
The Chinese.
Yes, sir.
Maybe at a mundane point, the Chinese have a habit in this country to stick together. Did they carry some of the knowledge? Is that reference from some of the knowledge they had before they asked for their freedom? They're carrying that knowledge within their genetically.
Can you all hear it? Now, the brother's asking questions, and I'm quite sure nobody will be able to answer it unless it is solid. In other words, when he's asking me, why is the Chinese eye slanted? Especially, and didn't have a little piece of meat right across the end of it. Why is that? Can any of you all answer it? Do you think Minister Farrakhan can answer it? long before we were brought to this situation, God asked a question of some people that were already here. And the Chinese people, he asked them, what would he have him do for them? And they said they wanted to be away from him. They didn't want nothing else to do with him. So he granted their want. He caused them not to see him in nothing they do. So he even put it across their eyes just as for the wise that were there at that particular time to let them know, I'm not with these people. Whatever they do, I don't care how well they do it, you will always see that something is absent. And the something that's absent is God. If you see their painting today, even the clothes that they wear, and if you notice, they say they're from the Orient. You know what that means? Well, yes, the East, but the Orient, it means they have a lot of knowledge that they spew out orally. But there's never no God in it. They got Buddha, not God. And they speak all this wisdom, but they never do the extent of what the wisdom is telling them. They speak about the water, the wolf, the air, the land, all these things, and the way they speak about it in parables, just like you see this Kung Fu series, and the grasshopper, this David Carradine plays, he's always speaking these wise things, but at the same time, he's always like a beggar. They can never make the knowledge do anything for him because God is not there in it. If you see them draw a tree, they'll draw it, and the leaves on it so far apart, it looks barren. It may look pretty the way they got it set up, but something is missing. What's missing is me. And they ask for it.
Will they ever return?
No, sir. They never will. They will perish.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brother, I did not miss the opportunity to hear you the first time. And I also took the opportunity to visit Kansas and see your work. I'd like to, if you would, report to the brothers and sisters in Kansas my gratitude for their treatment and civility and kindness in works. A couple of questions. Is John Muhammad a part of the United Nation of Islam after his meeting with Joseph?
No, sir. He's not a part.
And why not?
Well, you know, it's a strange thing. Once you start to accept me, or just accept that I'm for real, and if you're in the posture of leading people, or trying to show them something, it puts an end to what you're doing. So, at the time when he was facing me, yes, he was in agreement. When he stepped from me and turned his back and walked away, and he realized, if I accept this man, and this other man is my brother, for real, then I'm no longer the supreme minister. I really don't have nothing to do. If I do anything, I'm going to have to boost this up. I don't know how to do it. So it's easier to say, well, that was a fraud. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. That's because they never really check. Most people that think they're wise, when they come in contact with me and they find out they only thought they were wise, they either accept or they go away. I don't see nothing from them no more, because it puts an end to their pretending.
Brother, the Supreme Wisdom talks about a second uncle. Could you elaborate?
On the second uncle?
Yes, sir.
That's the white man. How? The first uncle is the black man. But we are a people where even in the making of Master Farad Muhammad, his mother had a brother. You see what I'm saying? His mother was white. She had a brother, so it automatically made him the uncle. The second one, he ain't the first. You see what I'm saying? The first uncle is the black man. And we in a Christian nation here, a white nation. Almost everything you do based on what white people have got in motion. However, we can't get away from the fact that Master Farad Muhammad came as our nephew. We were his uncle, the first uncle. So his second uncle, he got to be white. So the second uncle is white. And if you notice in the lesson, the second uncle almost used up all the air from the third uncle. It shows he's a little devil.
Sir, the Supreme Wisdom also talks about rewards, and oftentimes in the form of silver. What is the significance of those rewards, and has there been anyone answering those problems properly?
No, sir. No one answers the problem properly except me. And after you hear me answering, then you get into it, and then you can answer them yourself, because really they're very simple. The silver and the gold are things that's even money. That they say that, you go and ask the secretary, and then you do so and so and so, and you confront the secretary, and he's supposed to reward you, whatnot. They always say, it's always in there, the secretary does this. So it's letting you know, it's not so much as the physical things that you really be rewarded with. At the time that the lesson was wrote, in order for that to be relevant to our thinking, we were thinking only on the physical. So if you achieve something, you expect to get something physical for it. Even if you go to work today, you expect to get money where you can go and obtain physical things. However, the real fullness of it is that silver is something that don't go away. Gold is something that you can't get rid of. Water is something you can't get rid of. You can change its form, but you can't get rid of it. So at the fullness of this, you're supposed to receive the inheritance of God that he has for you, and his knowledge. You can't get rid of it. So that's what it really means in its fullness.
And Brother Solomon, will you please share with the audience the formula that will make us successful?
Mathematical thinking. Islam is math, and math is Islam. And it don't mean it's mathematical thinking, not mathematics as we know as numbers. Because in the problem book, on the face of it, on the book, it reads that we were put in this miserable condition in a mathematical way. So it means that the devil used math to put us in this situation. Now we got to use, and he didn't use 1, 2, 3 like that. He used mathematical thinking to outthink us and put us in a trap. So whenever you go to the store and think you get ready to get out, and you open the door and go, and you're in a worse condition. He had to think this up. If he paid you $1,000, I was looking at where I'm staying, where we ate at today. They had on the wall, I think it was a 46 packet or something of that nature. $2,000, brand new. Today, a brand new car costs you anywhere from $20,000 on up to $50,000. So it's hard to get. However, back then, it was the same thing. $2,000, it was hard to get. So it didn't change. So he's mathematically changed everything to still keep everything just the way it has always been, although he's tricking you. He paid you $10,000 a week. But you got things set and already calculated, you're going to give it back to him. So you still miserable.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I just have a couple of questions. In 1974, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was at the Traditional Saviors Day, and with him on the podium were what was considered Caucasian people, and he stated that the nation at that time could no longer refer to all white people as devils, and he pointed to the people that were sitting on the podium and said, "These are our brothers, and these are wise scientists." Would you like to elaborate on that?
Oh, yes, sir. The two brothers, I think he even said one was controlled 2/3 of death on the planet. That's how powerful he was. However, as far as them being white, they weren't white. They were not Caucasians. Now, as far as us referring to Caucasians as being devils or not being devils, all of them are. There's not some is and some isn't. There's some that is more true to their nature than others. However, if it comes down to the nitty-gritty and to that self-preservation, they will show who they are. That's why, and it has to be this way. It can't be some is good. Well, maybe you might have some that is good, but we're not dealing with good. We're dealing with the nature of things, because we got to get to the definite of everything. So if I'm going to deal with the nature, then I already know what it's going to do, because that's what it was made or created to do. So I can expect what I'm supposed to expect from it. Now, if we just dealing with good, I'm up in the air. I don't know what. You might do it, you might not. It's always a question there. So that's why. Now, these people, just like Master Farad Muhammad, they thought he was white. A lot of people think, well, he's white, but he's not. And the ones that were on, most of the scientists, only 8 out of the 24 scientists look black. Rest of them look somewhat white, or they look like Latinos. Not even quite like that. They got a look of their own as far as geographical. But they're not white. So it's the same thing with them. They were not Caucasians.
You say you are Allah in person, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you reveal the Quran?
Well, if you put it that way, yes, sir.
Could you give your explanation of Surah Ikhlas, the last surah, it's called Purity of Faith, where it says that Allah is one, He begets not, nor is He begotten,
Yes.
and there's none like unto Him, and using the definition of the original language and not the English translation?
No, sir, I will not give it outside of English. Because our people, I'm not just talking with you. I'm here in this country for our people that's caught up in this devil language. English is a language that I permitted to take place or for people to have, and it's the last language. English means last on the list. I recognize 4 languages. Now, as far as what you asked me about Allah being one, He begets not, nor is He begotten, there's none like Him, this is true. I'm an individual that's self-created myself. I'm self-created. I'm not the Allah like the messengers said. This Allah today is a new Allah. I am not the Allah of the Quran, when it speaks about the Quran. Allah the best knower. I'm Allah the all-knower. Now, because I am self-created. I'm not made by somebody else. I wasn't made by the original Allah. I'm self-created. I'm created in the light. So therefore, it leaves me with one nature, only positive. Everything else has 2, positive and negative. So I prepared this body, this specially prepared body, to house this particular entity. This entity that is Allah in this particular body. No one else has done that, not even the original Allah. When He uses whatever material He has to use, it automatically comes with negative in it. He has the power to make it always dormant, but it's there. With this, it's not there.
I guess what I'm saying, you're saying you were self-created or originated. Is that what you're saying? That
Yes.
you had no beginning or no ending, and you had no mother or no father?
The entity
That's
of,
what I'm trying to get to.
yes, sir. The entity of me, the entity. Do you all know what the entity is? Well, it's much like the Christians say soul, your soul. However, the correct description of it is not a soul. It's an entity. And an entity is a mass of completed ideas. A mass of completed ideas. That's what, so when you were born, and when you say, you take the breath, the entity takes the body. That's why it's called, it enters the body. And then it starts to relate itself with the body and starts the body to grow. Well, its first duty is to make sure that the body gets the nourishment and grows properly so it will be able to respond to the power that it wants to issue out or whatever it wants to do, because all of your organs inside your body is not to make you handsome or give weight to you. It is to make sure that you have the ability to use power, unseen power, energy. That's what it is for. So the body grows, and while it's growing, the entity gets a firm grip on what's happening for the time that it is now coming on the earth. Like it reads in the Quran, you never speak of no apostle or messenger of God or no servant of God as being dead, because they never die. They pass, meaning that when the body can no longer respond to that mass of completed ideas, the body is laid down and the ideas go back to its original source. They either be updated for another future time, and that's what takes place. With me, no sir. This entity was self-created, and it was done in the light. The original Allah self-created Himself in total triple darkness. And that's what made it The problem with him as far as having this other force in nature with him, not from him, which is negative, which today we call Satan. With me, since I created myself, I was in the light that he had already produced. So there was no negative there. So I didn't have that problem. So I'm here to solve a problem for him that he couldn't solve unless he destroyed himself. And at the same time, save the best of his creation, which is you, black man, in North America, not in Africa, in North America, where it reads about where the Shriners or the Masons talk about you being buried in the north corner, hit in the head and buried. Solomon sent the priest to go pull you up, wake you up, bring you up out of the shallow grave. The priest is Minister Farrakhan. You find that the priest couldn't do it. So Solomon said, look, I have to take you and show you how it's done. Solomon himself had to go and do it. And he went with the lion's grip, meaning that he went with power and authority to get you up out of the grave. So you're talking to him now. So
last question. I have people behind me. Are you the Solomon of the Bible or the Solomon of the Quran? And if so, the Solomon of the Suleiman in the Quran stated he had a company of jinn helping him build his kingdom.
Oh, yes,
Would
sir.
you explain the nature of the jinn and how it affects you and relates to you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm the fulfillment of the Solomon in the Bible and the Quran. If you notice, David really did have a son named Solomon. There's history of that. However, in the Quran, it reads that a Solomon was bestowed upon David, meaning that he didn't come from David's loins. This was almost like an adopted person. So Elijah Muhammad, the fullness of David, didn't have me from his loins. However, because of him and Masfarad Muhammad, it allowed this person, Elijah, to produce this powerful son of truth, which ends up to really be this bestowed Solomon upon this David. Now, as far as having the jinn with me, it's in our lessons that we would have approximately 3 million white folks helping this Solomon. That's the jinn. That's what he talks about in the Quran. He don't say white folks. But the people, really, that's the enemy. In the Bible, it says everybody helped Solomon. Everybody. It didn't say he helped Jesus. It didn't say he helped Moses. None of those prophets. When it got to Solomon, everybody helped. And in the lessons, it reads approximately 3 million Caucasians helped Solomon. That's what is in the works right now. White people, when they, like I said, they just sent black people and sent a couple white people. And they got and seen so many black people there that are going to go to work. They said they didn't want to work because we frightened them. But the white folks sent them. Now they're starting to come. They're starting to get. And if you notice, even in the Quran, when you read about Solomon, it reads that we gave Solomon more knowledge than anyone else. And we gave him a little knowledge of everything. Not some things. Not most things. A little knowledge of everything. And that they did. The they is the 144 or the 24 elders or scientists. That's the they that actually gave that to me. So that's why I know that I know that I know. Ain't nobody gonna come up, and outwit me. And nobody has the power to actually stop this resurrection for the black man. This is the last time. After this, I'm bringing on this country here, this lake, I'm bringing a lake of fire. This 2,000 by 3,000 is going to be on fire. I'm starting from the 12th layer and bringing it down gradually. And all of the ones that's with the hypocrite and refuse to be with us because what they did to you, leading you in the wrong direction, and the miseries that they brought on the messenger, and all of the righteous people, we're going to cause them to experience this fire. And when it gets so hot on them, I hope you're listening. When it gets so hot that they pass, like the Quran reads, we're going to cause them to be born into another person, give them new skin and let them roast again. Hey, it's written. And I'm telling you, I'm the man that's doing it. So yes, sir, this is the fullness of this Solomon. That's the jinn or the person that actually helped us. They're not a part of us by nature. However, they had enough foresight to see this man is just. He's not like us. He's a just man. So we're going to come and help. And they had a little knowledge because we gave them 35 to 50 years to study Islam. So it reads in the lesson. So we allowed them to be around us. We wouldn't kill them as quick. as quick. We're going to let them live for 1,000 years. And then that'll be the end of them. Yes, sir.
In the surah that the brother previously mentioned, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Qul huwallahu ahad, which means, say that He is Allah, the One. Earlier you mentioned or differentiated between yourself and the Allah of the Quran. How do you rectify difference or the plurality of Allah with this ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed?
Well, there can only be one Allah. And Allah is the one that is self-created and has more knowledge than anyone else. Now, the Allah of this universe, or the Allah of the Quran, is one. He is really your Allah. Since I'm self-created, that makes me an Allah. The devil is not self-created. He's a made man. There has been but one creation in the darkness and one in the light. Now, since I am here and I'm one, I'm not two. Meaning that I don't have negative and positive. I'm one. I'm just positive. That's all. This makes me the Allah, period. However, I won't be staying here because this don't belong to me. I did not originate this. I'm here to solve a problem. Although since I'm here and I have more knowledge than the original Allah, so Allah still is one. It's me. Now when I leave, after I correct the error that came with creation, or finish my duty for the Allah of the Quran, then naturally it will still be one again, because you still won't be able to outthink Him. He'll still be the Allah. As long as I'm present in your eyesight and in His, He has to take on the role of Lord. When I leave this universe and go to my own, then He automatically steps back up into His role of being Allah of this universe. However, I'm here and I have more knowledge than Him. I'm only one. I'm not dual. So that's what makes me, the Quran is still right. He's one. So I am that. So that's why when you read in Revelation about the Lamb and the Lord, and the 20 and the 4 elders made a new song to the Lamb. It didn't say to the Lord. And the Lamb was the light of this city. You know, He did lighten it. It didn't say the Lord. He was the glory of this city. The Lamb. Everything is mostly the Lamb, the Lamb. And what it means in that is that this is a new or a young God. A young Allah. However, He's doing more than the original Allah did, because this young God, this Lamb, ended death. The original Allah didn't end it. It's still taking place. But this new one ends death. No more death. Physically. I'm not talking about no more death as far as, you know, your soul is going to perish. No. You're going to still be living fleshly if you're with me, because I'm ending that. So that's what that means. Yes, sir. It's like if I go to your home and you're the man of that home, or as far as people know, say, you're my son, and I've gone from home, and everybody, nobody's seen no one there other than you as the man. So they see you, that's the man of the house, and they see you for a long time. That's the man of the house. Then I come in. I have more knowledge than you. I have the authority because it's not really your home, but everybody else thinks it is. So now I got a task when people come up, what are you doing in that house? Oh, I got a task on me now to show them, well, it's really my house. But they don't believe. So it's the same principle now. Since the person that has the most knowledge is to put an end to this problem, and we made the problem so as to get the best of what God's got. 400 years, ain't nobody went under this. 400 years of this man. And this white man's only been here 6,000 years, so it's got to be a plan. It's got to be a plan. Just riding from California here, coming through 500 miles of mountains, ain't no way in the world white folks had anything to do with that. Just the structure of how it appears let you know that it was a force and a power and a knowledge that has not been made prevalent now. It almost carries the same aura on it that the pyramids does. The pyramids, you can look at it and say, well, yeah, somebody had to do that. But the mountains, the way it's shaped up there, some of them look like they're demonic. You know, what force did that? You see? So that's what that means.
My last question. Earlier you stated in answer to one of the brothers' questions that you were Allah and that you have revealed the Quran. But then you stated that you're different from Allah in the Quran, even though He in the Quran itself states that He revealed the Quran. Now, you also stated that you're the All-Knower. So am I correct to assume that you're a Hafiz Quran?
Well, let me say it this way. The Quran was revealed to a people that had a nature that was not possible to do what the Quran read. However, knowing that this day was coming, we wasn't going to wait until the final hour and then we give this man a revelation so that he can give us an excuse. Say, well, look, man, if you had sent somebody other than Jesus, if you had sent somebody white to us, Prophet Muhammad is Caucasian. Prophet Muhammad is Caucasian. A lot of people say, I'm telling you because I am Allah. Whether you believe it or not, he was Caucasian. We sent the Quran through him for his people. So at this time, when it comes up, when this is actually take place, they cannot say, we did not send them a prophet that is of them. And in enough time where if they wanted to change and be in accord with what's taking place at this time, they could. So now they can't say that because they've had it.
Just one brief statement. As far as the belief that the Prophet ﷺ was a Caucasian, even in the Bible, which is a scripture that's criticized by Muslims, he's not a Caucasian, but a Semite, descended from Shem, and who are distinctly different from Caucasians. But my last comment was that a yes or a no to my question? Are you Hafiz Quran?
That means what?
You're Allah, you know this.
I'm asking you a question.
It means that you know the Quran from beginning to end in its original language.
I know the full understanding of all that is written concerning me.
Can you recite the Quran from beginning to end?
Yes, sir, but I'm not going to do it. It's not necessary. The Quran was given to a people for them to recite it. And the reason why they had to recite it, I want you to listen. And especially you all that's caught up in this. Once you learn your name, do you go around and recite it? Most times you never even pronounce your name. Somebody else pronounces it. In calling you or referring to you, you don't pronounce it. Somebody else does. If we gave the Quran to an original people, righteous people, and then tell them, listen, read this and quote this often, and pray 5 times a day, something wrong with that. If you're original and if you're righteous, something is wrong with that. And why pray 5 times? If we're giving a man something that is not his nature, and it's got to be written, so he can read it often. Why you got to read? If it's true and your nature is true, why have you got to keep reading it often? See, like I said, we need to think. We don't need to follow no Quran. We don't need to follow no person. You can't follow me. You can only be with me in knowledge. Now, this is the reason why. Because the Quran was revealed to white people. It was for white people. We first revealed the knowledge in scripts and scrolls to the Jews, the first ones that came out of the cave. But they took it and changed it. And they wanted to place God over their own people, which they still doing. So since they did that, we said, well, we have got to let the people know. So they still cannot hold us at the end as not giving them a prophet from their own. So we revealed it to the ones in the desert. And then they come up with the Quran. However, their nature is not righteous. So in order to keep them from going off into the abyss of their own nature, they can't go 6 hours. We want to pray 5 times a day. Just by the time they give it a slip off, it's time for them to go to pray, to bring them back. Islam, now I want you to listen. Islam, according to what the Quran is and in the East, only has enough knowledge in it just to keep Christianity in check. That's all. Just to keep it in check. And we can bear witness to that. We're talking 1,400 years ago. The devil was supposed to have been put in the pit of hell and locked up for 1,000 years. At the end of the 1,000 years, he was supposed to be let loose. And when he was let loose, he was to wreak havoc over the earth. Let's look at 1,400 years. 1,000, he's tied up. Islam kept him tied up. He couldn't do nothing. The next 400 years, what did he do to you? We let him come over here in this country. Got away from that check thing. Got away under Islam. Got away from it. Because it held him in check. So he come over here, killed the Indians, and worship what he wanted to worship, which is himself, his devilishment. 400 years. And he put it on the righteous people to kill you before I come. That's your 1,400 years. So he can't say nothing. We got him a book because we know he couldn't remember it because it's not his nature. So he's supposed to read it. And before he goes too far, he often feels he got to go read it or say a prayer. So it brings him back. So that's all it was for. The Quran don't tell you who the black man is as far as being God. It don't tell you who the devil is as far as being who it really is as a person. It don't tell you these things. It don't tell you how to make a tree. It's constantly telling you what you should do, how you should live in the way, not so you can make it into the hereafter, or you're going to be punished for what you're doing. As far as giving you real knowledge, you don't get it that. You don't get it that way. It's set up in such a way you can run a government on it as far as treating people right. Well, who does that? They had the Quran 1,400 years. Who did they call? The great Satan. Come fight my battle for me. So, brother, that's why I'm saying it is not for us. If you ignore Elijah, you're going to lose. I don't care what you think of me. You're going to lose. We live in this. I'm not went home and studied and come back and say, I'm going to whip some knowledge on somebody. No, sir. As it reads in the Quran, we took Solomon and gave him a little knowledge of everything. You want me to tell you how they took me? Or most of you all already know. Do you want to know? Well, after Waradin, the man that came with the Quran, that came from the messenger's loins, which in the Quran is styled as the Samaritan. After he did what he was supposed to do to the Muslims that came under the messenger, he weeded out the sheep from the goat, the wheat from the tare. That's what he did. After that, his job was really finished. I had to go through the same test as everybody else did. After the period was up 3.5 years, then 3 of those scientists that the messenger taught about and taught us about, and still in the literature, it's still there, they came and got me. I want you to listen. The messenger taught us about the mother plane, little ships. It's well documented. White folks, they bear witness to it. They call it UFOs. They bear witness to it. You got binoculars, a lot of brothers got binoculars. You go look at it. It's happening so much now you can't ignore it. And they didn't come from no other planet coming here. They've been ordered, the ones on other planets have been ordered not to come here yet. Well, they came and got me, put me on one of the small crafts, and carried me around the universe. Not around this planet, around the universe. And gave me a little knowledge of everything. They showed it to me while they were talking to me. And they never used their tongue. 2 brothers, one real black, and another brother somewhat brown skinned, operated the craft. And it was a craft that's a created craft, not a made craft. And when it's created, it means that it has no limitations to it. It can do whatever the mind can conceive, it can do. And in doing that, I got to see while I was being told. So that's why I know what I know. Now, you can believe it or don't believe it. It don't make me no difference. I'm telling you now, this is the end. This is the end. And just by me answering, if you got any sense at all, just from the question that's been asked, and the way the answers has come, did you see me stutter or feel as though I couldn't answer it? Or I'm coming up with some jibber jabber that don't make no sense at all? If it don't make no sense to you, it's because you don't have no knowledge to weigh it. It'd be like me asking my little 1-year-old child, not 1-year-old, 6-month-old child, son, what is calculus? He don't have the wherewithal at that time to answer me. That don't make you not be my son. That's the same thing with you, black man. You dead. You God, but you dead. And what's made you dead, you're naked from knowledge. And the Quran will not give it to you. You cannot get it from the Quran. It can only tell you what kind of behavior you got to have to make it to the hereafter. That's all. You're a black man, brother. You God. You don't have to pray no 5 or 6 times a day. You don't have to pray at all. If you're with me and you got knowledge, you don't pray. You practice. You do. And what you do pleases God. Not you on your knees or bumping your head. Forget that. That's for another people with another nature. That's in another land. In this land here, there's nothing that has superseded Elijah until I showed up. Minister Farrakhan didn't supersede it. Only time when the nation fell is after the death or when the messenger passed. That's when the nation fell. And somebody took it to its grave. The messenger didn't take it. Farrakhan has been here. He ain't dead. Where is the nation? And the brother just came up and said, well, he been seen in the Kansas. This was last year. If you going to come this year, you're going to see I wasn't standing still. You're going to see some more things. You see? So I'm building for you to actually be God. I don't have to study no book. In the Quran, I think in the Quran, the Bible reads that reading and writing is a weary to the soul. So if you're righteous, what the heck you got to pray 5 times? If I'm the real Allah, if I'm not the real Allah, if the Allah is real, He don't want you praying to Him 5 times a day. Almost 1 billion of you all. Hey, you got to think. They got to do it because their nature will not allow them not to do it. You see? So that's the answer to that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I want this understood. I am not saying that I'm against the Quran. I'm against the Arabs. I'm not saying that. It is perfect for them. It is not for you. It is not over knowledge. And I think the 114th surah or chapter is talking about the Lord of the dawn, the God of men. 113, well, and the 14th, other words, it's bringing an end to it. The Quran is not taking you into the hereafter. It tells you about it, but it don't give you no instructions about what the hereafter is. It don't take you into it. It's ending at the dawn. That means, and the darkest hour is just before dawn. That's where it is now. Just before, well, it's over now because I'm here. I'm that powerful light of Son of Truth, which is bringing light onto everything, even the Quran. Prophet Muhammad, everything else, I'm shining a light on it. So the dawn is over. Yes, sir. Walaikum salam.
What is your thoughts on Dr. Malachi York and the Holy Tabernacle Ministries?
Well, he's one of the brothers that has a little knowledge. However, it's not going to help us. This is a brother that's been against the messenger being the messenger and Master Prophet Muhammad being anything of any significance, all that I can remember. He's fulfilling prophecy. There would be some brothers here that would be doing things that make it look like they're really, really for us. However, in reality, he's not. You cannot find it no place in history or in prophecy. If you're going to ask, all right, if there is a David or a Moses. Moses had Aaron. He had Joshua. They were the key players. Where does Dr. York come in? If it was David, he had Solomon. He had Adonijah. And Adonijah had the kingdom before Solomon. But he wasn't supposed to have it. We live in it. That's Minister Farrakhan and myself. David was the messenger. Where does Dr. York come in? He's not in prophecy. Other than that there will be some people coming up saying that they're the one. That's all. What he's talking about as far as coming from some other galaxy and they want to get gold here to go build a dome so they quit losing their atmosphere on the other planet, whatnot there. What about the black man here that's hurting? We got to take care of that first. So, my thoughts about him is that he's just doing what he can do. He's not for us.
My age is 25 and I was labeled as Generation X. What was their reasoning for labeling me X, Generation X?
What do you mean, the society?
The society.
Because white folks have mathematically put into play things that would cause that type of your generation not to be able to think, not to know nothing. If you notice, they started way back, making sure that you couldn't discipline your children. They had the right to do what they wanted to do. However, he never taught them nothing. What he did teach them was to worship him, to go get the bigger cigar, get the longest car, get the fattest bankroll, rob the bank. And he's making killing on TV so much, like he always show you killing somebody or tearing something down, but he never show you building. Even after they shoot the guy and kill him and everything, stab him, you never see nobody take what they do with the body. So he's made it like, now, when I do show up, your ears is like, haven't even been prone to this. You know, man, that's somebody else, that's another nigga, you're gone. So it's like, they don't know what's going to happen to you. So they label you Generation X. But they don't know what's going to happen to you. They hoping that your ears is shut. They want to make sure you eat as much pork as you can, take as much dope as you can, and do all the rowdy, nasty things as you can, so you'll be a stench in my nostrils when I come. And I say, just like the scientist said, kill all of them. After you all were found over here. After you were found here. Are you all listening? After you were found here. And we went back and let the God know, or the scientists know. Our people that we've been looking for is over in North America, the hells of North America. And one of the scientists said, what, them? Oh, no. We don't have enough time. Kill all of them. He's talking about us. They didn't say kill some of us. All. And I said, no, I'll get them. And I'm here. We got lessons that nobody still gave the explanation to, not even Dr. York, and what he wrote about the lessons. And it's in the lessons concerning us and the scientists. They said before, even after I'm saying that, they said, well, before we will accept them back, they must have a thorough knowledge of ourselves, God, and the devil. And nobody taught you no thorough knowledge. They've been giving you bits and pieces because that's all they had. And the messenger couldn't give it to you because he said, many things I could tell you, but you couldn't bear it now. So he didn't tell you because you were just coming in and still afraid of white people. You were like savages. Now, your age, if it's not for me, you're in bad shape. And these brothers reading the Quran and think that this is funny, get one of them to help you. See how far you go. And see if the Quran can help you. Matter of fact, get any literature and see if it can help you. In the Quran, if the Bible reads, at that day, let him that has an ear hear. It didn't say let him have an eye read. See, you, black man, you got to think. And I expect this out of our people because they dead. They are void of knowledge. They've been looking for knowledge so strong and so hard that they have taken the tree of knowledge as though that's what they're supposed to have. The tree of knowledge is the Eastern Islam. When they're supposed to have the tree of life, which is God himself, which flows endlessly. You can't get to the end of it. You need the tree of life, not the tree of knowledge. That's why it's put in there, you're not supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge. You take from the tree of life. So that's what's happening. Stick with me, brother. You can come in here, because one of the things when the scientists talked, we were talking, and I said, well, these people ain't going to want to do that. They said, don't even worry about them. Don't go after nobody. Don't go after them. Don't go after nobody. You just stand up, do what you're going to do, but don't go after them. So I said, why? They said, well, when they get tired, they'll come. When they get tired of bumping their head 5 times on the day, get tired of holding the Quran up as though it's higher than Allah, when they get tired of that, because what makes me so good, I don't just talk. The last time I left Denver here, I put a little spanking on it. I'm the one that's bringing these plagues on this country right now. Me, you looking at it. When it rains, I ordain it. When the wind blows, I call for it. When the hail falls, I call for it. It don't just up and do it on its own. It don't do that. The lesson is, who makes rain, hail, earth, and snow and earthquake? The Son of Man. Not the Quran. It didn't say Allah did. The Son of Man. I'm the Son of Man because Master Prophet Muhammad is a man. Elijah Muhammad is a man. They produced a powerful son of truth, so ain't no woman involved. So I'm the son of man. Two men. You see? So when I call on the wind to blow, believe me, it don't hold back. Matter of fact, the scientists come and tell me sometimes, man, let's do so and so and so. I say, well, almost like the same day tell the messenger, hurry up, Elijah. Hurry up. You see, I'm for you. What's here is for you. I'm not to make no slaves. I'm to free you. You've got to be independent. You can't be no God locked up or answering to no man. You can't answer to me. You can't do that. You've got to answer to a formula. If you don't answer to the law inside of you of breathing, if you don't do that, you're going to leave here. That ain't got nothing to do with prayer. Ain't got nothing to do with no book. Ain't got nothing to do with no person. It's a law that the body must do. This is the same thing here. You've got to answer to a formula that seems strange, but it's true. And you ain't hear nobody else telling you this, if that answers your question.
I am a lyricist, and I've always felt that my reasoning for being here is to, through music, bring truth for youth, because they know nothing, because they're keeping them knowing nothing. You being Allah, is that part of the plan in any way for music to be used?
Well, everything is to be used to magnify the thinking or the righteousness of the black man, everything. You know, that's music, food, everything. However, in the absence of the knowledge of me and how you should do it, there are things that you do that's natural to you. However, what's lacking is the same thing like the Chinese. The God part of it. You know, you got the rhythm and everything. However, to be in accord with the time as the way I would have it presented, you don't have that yet. But you do have the potential. So once you listen, start to come alive. All the things that already is there start to come alive. That is righteous. That is really you, the God of you. Then you start to say, oh. You know, it ain't about making music to teach young people or anybody. You should just make music because it's good. And if it's good, it's automatically going to teach. But to do it just for teaching, that limits you. Forget that. Do it because it's good. Do it because it's right. And all that other stuff you're looking for, it will happen. All right? Yes, sir. And if you're genuine about it, I'll wake you up. Because if you remember, it reads that they made a new song to the Lamb. You might be the ones that do it. All right? Don't let me go past the time now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I was listening to one of the brothers' tapes he has on you, and in one of your comments, one of the sisters had said the moon had came from the Grand Canyon. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
That was evidence of the blasting away of the moon. That's what brought that type of crater there. You got to remember, this is 66 trillion years ago. You know, that's just part of it. It's not like the Grand Canyon, you know, the moon just came from that little one part. That's one of the most impressionable parts that we have here today to actually see that. And if you notice, well, maybe you don't notice, North America is the most sinful place that there is on the planet. And the reason why is because the Spirit of Allah has never been here. It's never been here. It hasn't even been over the atmosphere over this land. And the reason why, in the lessons, those of you that have lessons, you read that Allah didn't care about the poor part. You remember reading that in the lesson in student enrollment? Allah didn't, we know every square inch of the earth. We didn't care, but we preserved the best part. We didn't care about the poor part. What made the part poor? Today, they'll tell you, just the white man himself will tell you, look, if we explode an atomic bomb or a nuclear bomb, it makes that area where the explosion was uninhabitable for some time. So, as far as being used and useful, it makes it poor. Oh, y'all listening? Well, what kind of explosion do you think this God made 66 trillion years ago? What do you think it did to the land where it was concentrated at? It made it poor. I don't know if you understand or not.
And another question, as you say, you are Allah, and I was wondering if you have the control over the rising of the sun. And I was wondering, what's the thought behind all that, and how do you?
Well, no, sir. Not that I have control over it. I do. However, I don't have to have control over it. It's put in a system that it don't break. It's the same thing that I was talking about breathing. You don't have to have control over it. It just automatically happens. So the sun, for what it does, as a matter of fact, and the sun don't rise. It's because of the rotation of the earth that makes it appear to be rising and setting. The sun moves very slowly. It's moving, but it moves very slow. However, it doesn't have to have any maintenance on it in a way where I got to physically exert some type of energy on it or to it to make it do something. It automatically happens. It's set like in a mold. It's set like a die. You know, it's the same thing with you. You can't make yourself wait.
And my last question is, I had read across the hadith that said when Allah is to show Himself, He would come down on His throne, descended with thousands of angels, rank upon rank. And I was wondering where your angels were.
There's some of them standing at the door. And
So,
you possibly could be one too. That fullness of that only means the nation of Islam. You got your captain, ministers, secretaries, captains, you got ranks. That's all it means. That's all it means. We got to get out of that spooky stuff, as the way we've been taught. As long as you stay spooky, you never get to the answer, and you can't get to the answer, you can't solve the problem. But once you come down and everything is real, and nothing is spooky, nothing is off in the clouds, you got it. Then when you got it, you can master it. And when you master it, you become the God of what you master. We are going to master the laws and principles of creation. That makes us the God of everything, even the other beings outside of this earth and this solar system. That's why it reads in the lesson that who is the original man? That we're the Asiatic black man, the maker, the own maker. We got to make something first. The maker, and then we own what we make. The cream of the planet Earth. And God of the universe. That's you, black man. You got to wake up. And since I know it is, I'm not going to fail. If I don't get but two of you, I didn't fail. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask you, the teachings of the Nation of Islam talk about the baby planes and the timing bombs that are on the baby planes, how they go down 1 mile into the earth and then they raise a mountain a mile high.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask you, is there any significance to Denver being a mile-high city, and was Denver raised by a timing bomb?
No, ma'am. Denver is just an association or a part of this elevation from the mountains, period. Here. So before we start to slope down and going into, in other words, all of this that you see from California, all coming up here, right up to the mouth of Denver, was imported from another land here. It wasn't always a part of North America. It came from Africa. It broke off and came over here and attached itself to North America on the west side and waited for Satan.
And do you still study, or do you continue to learn, or have you arrived to a point where there's nothing else you can learn?
Oh, no, it's not done that way. It isn't anything I can learn. However, there are many things I can become aware of.
Okay.
You understand? Other words,
I hear you.
other words, if there's something that I have to learn, it means something I don't know. There are many things that I'm not aware of at the time because it's not necessary. However, if you come to me with it, or if it's brought to me, I know the origin of it. Just like you asked me about my house city. I told you where the land come from. I know it's hard to believe, but I know. Even if I don't even have to know, well, Denver is a mile high. I don't even have to know that. I know where all the land came from. And I know why it has the elevation that it does and what made the energy that made the mountains the way that it is. And if you look at it, black man, if you really look at it, most all of your vegetation, your food and everything comes from either Florida or California. Most all of that type of fruits and everything come out of those two states. And that's the only place, Florida and California, where they can go down into the rocks and whatnot and find elephant and tiger bones and whatnot. No place else in North America can they do that. That's because listen, you ain't gonna find this in the Quran. When it got time for Allah to show up, that means Satan had to show up in a person, not in some spooky way I come just working powers. It had to be two. This war is between Allah and Satan, not Allah and you. And the battle is in the unseen. Who's going to get the powerful people? Allah or Satan? Since this is the end of Satan, the end of death, in order for this person to actually be nourished and brought up, to grow, so he could actually be this Satan, we had to have a land that he could relate to, a land that fed him. So since it was going to be here in North America where the black man was hit in the head and buried, so here Satan had to be also. So the land broke off. We broke it off. That's why Los Angeles is called Los Angeles. It was a city. They woke up, it was gone. They lost it. What happened? So when it was rebuilt, we allowed it to be named Los Angeles, City of Angels, because that's where angels used to be. However, it wasn't good angels. Now this Satan, this person that is Satan, that is all negative, no, have no positive, I'm all positive, have no negative, he had to be nourished. So the land broke off and floated under the Pacific Ocean, came over and attached itself here and waited for him. And then he was sent there by Elijah Muhammad and stayed there. Elijah told me, go study law. Go to California. He went there. He went to Culver, California. And he stayed there until he nourished himself and got himself good and strong. Then he had to go back to Africa for a little while. He did. Now he's back here. So the fight is between he and I. You all are pawns. I'm going to win. You see? So you may think, you ain't going to find that in the Quran. Minister Farrakhan ain't going to tell you, unless he quotes it from what tape he heard. And like I said, did I stutter? That's why if they gave me a little knowledge of everything, I got it. It's you that don't have it. However, I am duty bound to share it with you. But I can't pour no knowledge in your head if it's already sealed. You see? So when you say, well, I hear you. I say, you understand? He said, I hear you. That's the language that this world has taught us to say to each other. The question is, do you understand? The proper answer is no, sir. You see? When we go back to where it's supposed to be, we can start learning. However, the book reads the first thing in learning, the first thing that you got to obtain in learning, this type of learning, the first thing is the fear of God. Like the brother, 25 years old, the devil has taken that out. They don't have no fear of nothing. 25, well, if I make it 26, good. God bless me. I can die at any time. God is left out of the equation. They don't even have no fear of God. But believe me, keep breathing. I guarantee you're going to say, Solomon is Allah. I bear witness. You're going to say it. Or you're going to be with me and say, Solomon is Allah. Because I'm with it, and I'm helping it. He got a lot of powers, and I've got some too. Because I'm a God that gives. I don't want all the power. You don't have none. That means I got to do everything for you. Forget that. I got the power. You got to have something too. You see what I'm saying? I'm making some beautiful husbands for you too. Some beautiful black men. Yeah. I got to take into account of everything. You got another question?
Not a question, just a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that what you're doing of good is very honorable. But when you bash or speak derogatively of Minister Farrakhan, who is a man who also has good works, you may have good works, but so does he, and he is greatly loved by a large number of black people in America, that lessens your appeal. Because usually only insecure people have to bash other people or refuse to recognize other good works.
This is another thing that has got our people messed up. This is why it is written in prophecy concerning him that at the age of 40 he died. However, he lived to be 123 years old. It's because he turned hypocrite against his leader and teacher.
You're saying this is Minister Farrakhan?
This is Minister Farrakhan. I am Minister Farrakhan. And we took him up on the highest mountain and stripped him of his arraignment. But however, everybody loved him. It's in the book. Everybody loved Aaron. We took him up on the high mountain and stripped him of his arraignment and made him take off his arraignment and give it to his brother. However, everybody loved him. But God didn't. So what everybody does, if you're not in accord with what Allah's doing, forget everybody. You got to know what God is doing. And I'm not bashing. This is another thing. I'm bashing. I'm not bashing. It's the same thing. If the police come to your door, dressed up in a uniform, you know right away he's a police. He don't even really have to have a star on. This is the police. He got all their apparel with him. However, now when the FBI comes, or the undercover agent dressed in a suit, he don't have nothing. You don't know who he is until he shows you. This is the same thing with Minister Farrakhan. He's been perpetrated. How could he be with the messenger? Go ahead, the whole apostle. Teach the whole apostle. Jumping up and down. Talked about Malcolm like a dog. Then he go and do the very thing Malcolm did. So it ain't about, look, if you don't love me because I tell the truth, and you can call it whatever you want. You got to know what's stopping you. If I'm saying I am Allah, how come he don't know this? You think I would go to somebody else that's not an official in Islam and go tell them, but don't tell him? I told him first and proved it to him. If I'm Allah, I couldn't go to him and say, look, I'm Allah, and just say it. He laughed me out of the place. But if I tell him and show it to him and prove it, and matter of fact, the people that were standing around outside the door, when I walked out, they was almost bowing. Because they knew, because they heard what I said, because he was afraid. He didn't know what I was going to do to him. He didn't know if I was going to beat him up in the room or what. So he had his sentries posted right outside the door with the door open, and they heard me getting on him. I mean, getting on him. You think I'm talking about? I shot it to him. Because he was talking crazy. And he got everybody thinking crazy. So when I do show up, you in love with him. But if you know his history, if you know it as just being Adonijah, what did he say to Solomon? Don't take my life with the sword. If you don't kill, he tried to make a deal. And Aaron, like I just said, because he turned hypocrite, the day that he turned hypocrite, he said he came into the nation in 1955. 1955. I think it was 1995, or 40 years later, he confirmed himself as being a hypocrite. When he did that, that's when he died. Meaning that there was no reprieve for him. The same as when Adam bit the apple. God told him, this day you should surely die. Adam lived to be, 600 or 700 years old. What it meant is, the death means that you cannot be saved because of what you did. I don't care how long you live after that day, you're living as a dead man. So as far as God's concerned, in his eyesight, you really don't exist. That's what that means. If the ministry was so for black people, and I'm talking to you, and I've been doing this now since 91, 91, that goes with your lessons, but this lion in the cage, I went to him and talked to him in the palace twice. When I went the first time, I said, I'm going to talk to you 3 times. And at the 3rd time, I'm to stay with you for a while. And I'm going to make you greater than what you could ever imagine. I'm not going to go before the people, you're going.
You saying you said that to Minister Farrakhan?
I said that to him. Yes, ma'am.
Same way when Satan offered Jesus the kingdoms of the world?
No, see, you trying to twist it up as though I'm a fool. You see? You haven't heard nothing I said. I can't help it if you don't like it. That's your problem. I am who I am. Minister Farrakhan is minister. It don't read no place in no scripture minister is going to save you. The messenger passed before he was ever elevated out of the station of minister. We made him a helper to the messenger. A helper can't be greater than the principal person. The messenger made a nation out of dead black people against white folks. They were still lynching people when the messenger started. And the messenger came around and said, white folks is the devil. Anybody else said it. And they didn't kill him. They killed King. They said, look, let's love white folks. We want to be brothers. White boys and white girls and everything, and black girls, holding hands. They killed him. They didn't kill Elijah. So what I'm saying is, the minister has played a trick on y'all. All this money you gave me, I'm doing this with no money, just from power. Like you say, go to Kansas, or stay here and go to the classes. I will free you, because I do it from here. And you study and see, you can find where Solomon is ordained to do this. If I got more knowledge than anybody before me or anybody after me, what am I going to do with the knowledge? I said, God, what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to guide his people that's so great, meaning the black man here in North America, get you out of this grave and guide you in and out of your daily affairs. Guide you in and out of your daily affairs from knowledge. Not that you follow me. And I ain't no minister. You can't find it written where minister is going to save you. You can't find it. So you see, we got to think. You got to think. It ain't about what you. I don't like standing up here before you the way I look. I don't like that. But that's the way the brother was talking about the hadith a while ago. It's written in the hadith how I would appear. That I have a gap between my teeth, moles on my face, and speaking of strange knowledge. I got the gap. I used to really have a gap until I had the rest of these pulled out. I got moles all over my face. And you ain't gonna hear nobody speaking what I'm speaking unless it's me. See? You see? You. Yes, ma'am? Yes, sir.
Peace.
Don't let me go by in peace. Don't let me go past the time.
Okay, this is what I want.
Come close to the mic.
About like certain knowledge that you be speaking, and then a certain type of energies that be going through your body. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's the truth, well, I don't know if it's the. I'm not gonna say what you're saying ain't the truth. I'm saying as far as my daily affairs. As far as my daily affairs, like I've been noticing like certain energies coming out the right and out the left, and then like dealing with the meditation and dealing with the third eye, and it assimilating. I want to know more about that.
Well, what is happening since I am here, and I hope you listen, since I am here, my very presence in the planet, especially in North America, is starting the black man to wake up regardless. That's why everybody's talking about Jesus. Everybody's starting to get religious with no knowledge. So it can't help them. They just on a feeling. So what was with you? The black man is waking up. He's starting to realize and experience certain things that's happening to him. It's happening in the absence of knowledge. It's time. Now only thing has to happen, you've got to couple knowledge with what you naturally can do. And this way you can direct that energy and make it serve you. Now it just happens. You were wondering, what's happening? Why is this happening? The knowledge is what you lack in, not the power.
Where would I find this knowledge?
You talking to it.
Well, tell me then. Okay, as far as like
you got to get closer so they got to get on the
like the shock. I've heard people say it's called the chakras or something like that. Certain 9 chakras or something like that.
Well, no, sir. What really takes place once you start to get in tune with the rhythm of what's taking place, whether you have knowledge or not, the energy that's being put out every day. You start to pick it up. That's about the best thing, way I can explain it to you without you having any knowledge of what's taking place. The more that happens, the more you come alive. A lot of people, if they're around me and you start talking, I start really sharing wisdom with them, especially on one-on-one conversation. Brothers start talking to me and sisters, and some sisters almost just pass out, because they feel so good and the energy overwhelms them, they're black out, or they can't get their breath. I have to leave or I have to stop. Brothers, they get a sensation up and down their back, the spine, and whatnot. Those are cells in the brain coming alive to the righteousness or the purity of the energy that they're picking up. However, they still need the knowledge. If you notice, it don't read that the God or the Lord gave Solomon power. They gave him knowledge. You see? And it reads in the Quran that Solomon didn't have to answer to nothing or no one. He didn't have to answer to nothing or no one. So that means he had to be Allah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, say for instance, like, I've been kicking it with other brothers and they have certain powers.
Speak up so you can get on the tape.
I've been dealing with other brothers and they have certain powers to do certain things, right? But who is it to say that, like with the ecosystem, who is it to say to mess with or demonstrate any of them powers would kind of throw things off balance?
Well, you can't. The only off balance you would do, if you do that, you would be off balance. The power isn't distributed in such a way where you can do anything with it as far as putting any impression on that. It is to serve you for you to make an impression on whatever idea you have to focus on to make that happen. However, as far as in general that we're doing this and you upsetting the balance, no, sir, that's impossible. Okay. It's almost like, it's like the salmon. The salmon swims upstream. But he don't stop the water, because he don't stop the water. That power is still going. He with the fluid. But he don't interfere with none of that power.
This is the power, like those energies and stuff. This is the power that you're talking about.
Yes, well, the power's already there. It's just that some people is able to pick up on it before others. So it's always there. And you get it from here. If you're going to start operating on it, it really starts from here. And it goes on up, and you direct it from here. Or you do this, or you direct it from here.
Okay. Because, like, with the pinkies and all the fingers and stuff, you start feeling certain energies. But this is another question I have. Like, with certain brothers that I notice, is it with the falling out of their hair, is that like a certain type of nature of a person?
Well, no, sir. Those type things usually come from the life that we've been living.
Right.
A lot of times when you drink a lot of cold liquids and whatnot, you start losing your hair. And if it's real cold, and you start bringing shocks to your body, although you don't even know it's shocking you. One side effect of that is a loss of hair.
Yeah, so you couldn't say.
And then, sir?
Well, the only reason why is because, like, I try to always analyze certain things, and I check out certain brothers' actions and ways, and then I look at the way their appearance is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times, like, I've been dealing with a lot of older brothers in Colorado. And check this out. Why don't you do this? Hook it up where it's a lot of these elders that are not letting the young brothers in as far as, like, the carpentry work and a lot of real working that needs to be going on for us to get in. A lot of them is, they pushing us away. They're not, they're not letting us in. They're rejecting us for real.
Well, that's what I'm doing, brother. I'm building a nation. I'm looking for you. I'm here tonight with an application. Those old brothers that's hung up with this Masonic, and they still think it's supposed to be a secret because if they tell it, you're going to get the head cut off. That's out of time.
But I mean, what is that though? They do take you through a ritual though, whereas when certain things you do feel it. You do have a physical feeling of it. What is that?
That's a poor example of them all together focusing on a particular thing, and it's the same principle as being hypnotized.
Right.
You can't be hypnotized unless you submit to it.
Okay, so how can you? What do you have to do? Kill them to break?
Oh no,
them?
sir, no, sir. Get away from them. You don't need them. You God.
But I'm saying, like, even in your dealings, like out in the world, like when I be dealing out in the world and I come across them, I feel them or whatever, and they still demonstrate their little.
Well, hey, you feel them. Just leave it alone. In other words, that may be one step on the ladder. You got to get to 13 steps. You got to go higher than what Jacob did. You got to get 13 steps. Just because somebody knows how to do a little energy, that's like a child playing with a gun. They really don't know what they're doing. If they're going to use any energy, it should be used for the benefit of the awakening of us. And then if they know how to build something, teach you. So if you walk by, and you can even pick it up from them and whatnot, this says something about you that you're tuned in also.
Well, what should we do? Because,
leave them alone.
I'm saying, like, a lot of them are in position, in power. You know what I'm saying? I like for them to be out of power.
Oh, well, that's going to take place. In other words, based on what I'm doing, when they come up against me, that's the end of them. I'm not coming up against them. I'm not coming up against nobody except Satan himself. And I'm not doing that yet. You see what I'm saying? Now, all the other brothers that's being caught up with certain experiences and whatnot, just by what I'm doing, at one time or another, they're going to confront me in some kind of way. It's going to be surreptitious how they do it. But I operate in a circle, so you can never come up on my back.
I understand. Well, that part you lost.
If you got a complete circle, where is the back of it? All right then. So if I'm Allah, where's my back? I ain't got no back because I operate in a circle. Not that I'm turning around in circles. I operate in a knowledge where there is no back to it. It's always positive. Okay. So negative can never sneak up on it.
See, my problem is this right here. Like a lot of the, I'm a carpenter, right? Where I deal in that field. And I'm trying to, stay out of the realm of the Europeans. And a lot of the brothers that are in the field or general contractors and stuff like that have it, they try to lock it down, whereas, you can't get in. And I can't go to the Europeans because I'm going to end up getting into it with them. But I got to deal with the brothers. But the brothers seem like they're a little bit more shysty than the Europeans.
Well, this is what I'm saying, brother. This is what I'm saying. And I'm going to take these 3 questions.
To go.
I'm going to have those 3 questions behind me because the time is running out. They just gave me a slip. However, what I'm saying to you, you got me. They don't. They think they already got it. I got a nation to build. So you can build until your little heart just be happy. For real. Make it come out there on the 4th of July, Kansas. You start walking there, you be there, even 600 some miles. If you really want to, I'm just human. If you really want to go and you don't have no money or whatever it is, well, now get in touch with if you don't have a captain, get in touch with the study, Brother Leslie, the study guide personnel here. And we'll make sure you get out there. Well, I'm building a nation, brother. I really, really am. Okay?
Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace to you. What time I have to get out of here? 9:30? Okay. I better be quick with these answers. Walaikum salam.
I just had a few questions. One was, to my understanding, is that Allah is all-knowing.
Yes, sir.
And that He knows what man is going to do before they do it.
Yes, sir.
And I was just wondering, earlier you had said that you had been taken in a spaceship or something.
Yes, sir.
With 24 scientists or 12.
3 of them.
Yeah. And they actually taught you and everything. And if you're Allah, why is they teaching you? You should be teaching them.
No, they didn't what you say taught me. They made me aware of some things. And at the same time, now let's understand this. Here's an entity that's coming into this body. It's like when the baby is born, the entity takes the body. At that particular time, everything has to be made aware to it. This is how I was being made aware of what I am, who I am, and what I am to do in this body. In other words, they were like my babysitters.
But how can they make you aware of something that you already know?
Let me put it. Did you see Terminator 2? Remember the little boy? He asked him, whoever the star was, about why was he doing so and so and so. And he said, "Well, you told me." And he said, "How did I tell you? I'm the little boy." But he had already told him before when he wasn't in that body. You see what I'm saying? However, now he knew because he'd already told him, but now he's asking the man got to tell him. You see, however, he was still, since the man knew, just like the scientists knew who I am, they bear witness to me and submit to me, not me to them. However, they caused me to be aware of who I am. And if you remember, Solomon had to build his house, and it took him 13 years. It don't mean he built a house. It meant that he went about doing what he was told and shown to bring out his own nature, and what he did proved to him what he was shown was true. So the 13 years, I got to be, whoa. I am Allah. Not that I felt, I can do this. No. What I was doing and how I did things and how easy it was for me to do it bore witness what they said is true. So now, I don't say I'm Allah because they said it. As a matter of fact, they didn't tell me. They kept talking to me in such a way where they were saying that I was, but they never said I was. So I asked them, I said, are you saying I'm Allah? And they say, yes. So I do like you. I said, how could that be? I'm dumb as a frog. I don't know nothing. They said, you see. So now I see.
I have one other question, and it was that, to my understanding, is that that Musa or Moses, right, that when he was given his prophethood, before he went to Pharaoh, that he was given signs to show Pharaoh that what he was saying was true.
Yes, sir.
And I was just wondering if you could show me something to show me that what you were saying is true.
Get the tape and come back to Kansas.
I'm talking about tonight.
I don't do things like that.
All right.
Because that don't prove nothing. Just like the brother was saying about the things that happen to him when he come around wise people or these brothers. Mm-hmm. If I do the same thing to you, that don't prove nothing.
No, but if you showed me something, it'll prove something to me.
What you need to see is what I'm doing. We have the literature back. Look back there on the table. Look back there. Everything you see back there, I'm producing. I'm doing it. From the ground up. You see the flower there? We plow and plant the seed. Then we
See, a lot of brothers do that, though.
No, sir. they do not. White folks do it. A lot of brothers don't do it. If they do it, they're doing it for white people. I'm doing this against what white people say, and even against you. You don't even want to see it. Oh, that ain't gonna last. What I'm doing. I brought it here. White folks didn't bring that here. I brought it here. The bags is made there. We're gonna start making our own bags. Everything's gonna be ours. Ain't nobody doing that. And you will never find where Allah did something because somebody asked him to do it like that, because we already know how you think. It's not gonna prove nothing. I'm wasting my time. If I did it, then you walk on off and laugh, I might really hurt you. You ask me, well, do something, then I do it, and then you laugh, then you make a mockery of it. To my face, I couldn't just allow that. I'm God, brother.
So what would you do?
Well, we need the next question. Other words, like I'm saying, you need to know this for real. Because this is real. You don't need to know it because of what I can do in the way of power. You don't need to know
prove it. That you're Allah.
Like I say,
with
come
material things. Yes,
sir. Come to Kansas. And just by me answering the question that I've answered, the way that I did, who else answered them?
A lot of people have knowledge to answer
Okay,
questions.
brother. Okay. Next question. A lot of people have knowledge to answer questions. That's what I asked. So that's why I can't get mad with it, brother. He can't answer a question that I asked. A lot of brothers answer questions. They don't answer the questions that what I'm being asked, they don't answer them. And you never hear no answers back to the questions the way that you've heard. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Father, I'm with you. I've been with you since March. I can bear witness that you are Allah. I have been blessed in many, many ways.
Yes, sir.
I was with the brother that's the carpenter.
Yes, sir.
I was with 3 of your ministers who were also in the construction crew. Some of the wisest brothers I've ever been with. A master electrician, 2 master carpenters. These are the kind of people that are in heaven. They work for Father. Right there with Father. I came into the nation in 1969 under the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I live in Missouri, Kansas City. The reason I came out was with you on May 22 when you were at the temple in heaven. I came here because I invited my parents out, and when I told them that you were coming, they were so excited I just had to be here. And my parents are in their 80s, and they're right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
My sister is also with me, and her husband, who's been like a brother to me all of my life.
Yes, sir.
And they've always supported me in Islam. My father stood up the first time he heard Islam in San Francisco, but he didn't stay with us.
That's
and I'm hopeful that today that they will come with us.
Yes, sir. How old is your father?
83.
83.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you keep breathing, if you can make it another 5 years, and you stay with myself and your son, it's highly possible you won't have to go no place. I'll bring you back to the age of 16. I love to do things. That's the kind of power I love to show.
Yes, sir.
Bring you on back. And your wife. In other words, it's an honor to do that type of thing because it's for real. You know, it isn't something that I'm doing and somebody get a good jolly out of a laugh and it's going off and it's over with. This will be for real. We start growing backwards, coming back into their youth. What better thing I could give them? If they're coming back into their youth, they got to be coming back into knowledge. Got to be. I'm a powerful son of truth. A son of truth. Powerful son of truth. You're not going to get around that. And the brothers that come in and think that this is crazy, we should look to see who really is crazy. Is it me or them? I'm here talking to you all. Not you where I am, you talking to me. I've said things that you have no knowledge of. You can't tell me nothing I don't know. You see, so it ain't nothing you can entice me with. You can't give me nothing other than your submission. That's the only thing you can give me. You got no money. If you did, you wouldn't be here. If you are here with the money, you ain't going to give it to me. So, well, I ain't looking for nothing other than your submission so you can wake up. I just want you to wake up. That's all. And the ones that don't like what I say about Mr. Farrakhan, I ain't really said nothing about it yet. If he don't turn around before 1998, I'm going to jump up on it where his liver is going to quiver. You know, it's written in the book that I'm supposed to prophesy hard against him. I haven't done it. Just because you all love him so much. But remember what you read about him. We took him up on the mountain and stripped him. Because he did a damnable thing. A damnable thing. He had your ear. 1 million of you showed up. What did he say? Go back and join something. Is that God? Well, if you don't know, I'm telling you, no. I don't care if you all went. I don't care how spirited you felt. You got no knowledge to go with the Spirit, so you went back doing nothing. And the family abuse record, abuse against the wives, whatnot, has gone up 15 to 20% since the March. You see? So I'm happy, brother. You coming out this week or next weekend or whatever it is?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh.
And my son is also there with me. He's also in the idea.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
And I have another son in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And he wants me to convey to you that he will be following your instructions.
Well, tell him he's wise if he does.
Yes, sir.
Tell him he's wise. And let him know I'm not mad with him.
Yes, sir.
And if he listened at the tape in 1995, he will see that I ended whatever I was going to do against the nation because of his behavior. I did it then and put a period to it.
Well, his problem, father, was really Master Fard Muhammad. And one of his childhood brothers that he grew up with is in Maryland and has been to the temple and has tasted his sister's cooking also. And we talked on the phone for 2.5 hours. And we went through Message of the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, the Bible, and they now understand Master Fard Muhammad.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Did you have a question?
Yes, sir. Since I've been in the idea, I've wondered about the atom. In high school, we were taught that the atom had a nucleus, which was the center of the atom, then a proton, which was positive, and an electron that was negative.
Yes, sir.
And when I hear you teach on the atom, this is the concept I have. Is that concept accurate, Bob?
Well, yes, sir. That's the physical atom.
Yes, sir.
Now, it took its characteristic from the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. The spiritual is the center. And when you get to the end of the physical, that's where you find Satan or the negative.
Yes, sir.
So that's all it represents. Now, we make the atom work for us because our body is composed of it and everything. And then you have the atoms you got different levels of it, different expressions of it. However, to make sure that we have enough energy or our body's in tune where we can make this energy work, it comes from here. And you got to know the essence of things. You got to be a black man, you don't have nothing in North America except that you're spiritual. That's all you don't have nothing else. You don't have no land. You don't have no money. You don't have no hope. You are a spiritual people. That means that you are the real God. You're the essence of everything. That's the nucleus of the atom. And this whole world's problem is because of you. What is we going to do with you? If the white man could get rid of you, whatnot, he might say, oh, sigh of relief. But he can't even get rid of it. Because he can't get rid of the nucleus. You see, that's what it means. And when you bring it into the physical, that's how you describe it. And you can see even in the physical how powerful it is.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Father. I love you very much.
Love you too. I'm going to have to make this real quick, if you will. And don't all y'all get up and leave. If you got 5 cents, give it. If you got 1,000, give it. If you got nothing, go look at the table and give that. Give conversations if you got enough time. I'm giving, so you give. And what you give me, or give towards what you're giving yourself. I don't have 5 or 6 cards. Matter of fact, the card that the nation got for me, I called home today and they say it wouldn't start. I ain't had it to drive so long the battery went dead on it. I'm riding in a van. I got a 1991. I think it's 91, isn't it? 91? No, not the van, the Q. I got a 1991 Q45. And if you see it, you will swear it's a brand new car. Even when I go to the dealer to have it serviced, the people that are selling the cars, they come out and look at it and they just be marveling at it. It's got somewhat of a white interior and a burgundy outside. They be flipping over that car because what it represents is cleanliness. It's pure, clean. So when I'm in, and it took on my order. But I don't even drive the thing no more. I'm going to say thing. I don't drive the automobile no more.
So the batteries done gone down on it. Because that don't excite me. You do. So I got to work, so I got to bring this stuff with me since I'm making a tour. I got trucks to bring it, but ain't enough of y'all here doing anything to send the truck. You know, and when I get the license for the truck, when I got to pay this insurance, then I got to pay for every mile that I go through the state, and I'm going to bring 2 bags of beans over here. So I get in the van, coming back from California, stop by, bring the flour, bring the plantain chips, bring the things. You know, I stop by, I got in the van, I'm working. As I'm moving, I'm working. I'm not laid back in the plane, or I got a big coach bus. I got a van that I'm driving to pull a little trailer behind it. I could get the other things, but it don't excite me. You do. And as a matter of fact, the car, I got it up for a raffle. For the ones that want $100. You can buy a raffle ticket from us for $100 to buy that car. And what I did, I could have gave it to the messenger. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. They said, Father, you need another car. I said, that's going to be about $50,000. I could get the meal with that, or get something else. I don't need no $50,000 car for me. But they said, you need this as an incentive for the people to see you. A whole lot of suits. I didn't want that. They were like, make me take these things. So I said, okay, before I ask you all just to give me the money to go buy a new car and I still keep the other or give it to somebody else, why not let one of the ones that are already with me have my car for $100? They got a car like new, got my car that God had. I give them the title. If they actually come up with it and they got the ticket that wins the car, they get a brand new car. Plus, I get a car that they've got for that. In other words, the $100 every time somebody sends $100, that goes to pay for the new car. So when I pay for it, it's paid for. I don't have no payments, and they got the car that I had, and the car's like new. Ain't no other leaders doing that. You see? So it don't make no difference. You know, I don't think we got close to $6,000. 6,000. So I got to come up with another 44,000. It ain't gonna happen. But I said, if I don't get no more than $6,000, when the time comes, I got to give the car up. Because I got to be a man of my word. So somebody's gonna get the car for $100. Now I got to add 44,000 if I go get the other car. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this. I hope we don't run out of time. I was also riding and thinking about this. Instead of me getting a car for $50,000, why don't I get a coach bus? So I can take the people across the country back and forth to our places. You know, and in Cincinnati, I'm trying to get a place set up where we have like a little hotel setting, and it'll be like a layover place. So you don't never have to deal with your enemy unless you want to. That's what I was contemplating in my mind. Instead of getting a $50,000 car just to carry me, just that one me, why don't I get a bus, a coach bus, and put on it the United Nations of Islam transportation, and take people from the East Coast to Kansas City, or from here wherever you want to go, pick you up. Wouldn't that make better sense? Or let me put it this way: it makes sense. Now whether I do it or not, based on whether they're gonna let me. Yes, sir, brother.
I'm sorry to come back.
That's all right.
I had another question that I didn't think about the last time I was up here.
All right.
I got several of your tapes, and the Atlanta tape, the Philadelphia tape, the meeting, the Denver tape, Los Angeles tape. I forget which tape it's on, but you have referred to Silas Muhammad as a devil. Could you explain that?
No, sir. I didn't refer to him as the devil. He is Satan. White folks is the devil. Silas is Satan. He is the Satan. He is the person that California came over and waited for. And the messenger sent him out there to study it and let that land get him fixed up.
Wasn't Silas Muhammad the first to leave Wallace even before Minister Farrakhan?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. However, you know, that was all in the plan. He left him. Now, so what? He ain't did nothing for us. He left him.
And the brother that asked you about the minister's brother, John Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
I mean, how do all of these people play into the scheme of
answering these questions and whatnot? I've got to be a man worthy of another wise man's attention. How come they don't never? I've made myself available to them. And every time I go to somebody, they get real smart. Then they go behind my back and talk about what they're going to do to me. I don't know if you all remember Captain Yusuf Shaw in New York. He told me, sent word to me. I went down and spoke one night. He sent word to me. I better not come back to New York unless I get his permission. A week later, he was dead. I went to Cleveland. Y'all heard what's his name? Theodore Hamza. You remember him? Supposed to be such a great minister for the messenger and whatnot. He started talking a bunch of stuff behind me and whatnot. I left. He passed. And then Minister Farrakhan's top man, Wali Muhammad, the leader, the editor of the Final Call newspaper, his Final Call newspaper. He come out, he think he gonna do me and waste me because I'm talking about the minister, talking to the minister, talking to the minister's brother, so he gonna take care of me. As soon as he said it, 3 days later, he was dead, pushing daisies up. I am God, and I ain't gonna back up off it. And if we need this kind of fight, can't nobody come and kill me. Death runs from me. Yes, sir. So all these niggas that's out here pretending that they're doing this and doing that, they're hypocrites. If they were doing what they're supposed to do, why don't they confront me and prove one thing I'm saying is wrong? One thing that I'm doing, prove it that it's wrong. I'll be more than glad to say you can tie me up. I'll sit down and listen to you. And if it's wrong, I got to say, look, man, you're right. It's wrong. I got to quit that. I told the minister, listen, I will come on the third meeting. I will stay with you for 30 days. And if you find anything that I'm doing that is wrong, you got all of the FYI, throw me out. Wouldn't take it. John Muhammad, they don't want none of this. All these brothers, Levi, Kareem, that's in Detroit, all of them want to be the big eyes. I mean, Islam don't teach that. It says there's no big eyes and little U's, period. And if I'm saying I'm Solomon and doing what I'm doing, and they got computers, they go to the website, they not doing it. So how come they don't never confront me and say, well, look, let's get together, or what should I do? I'm not going to take nothing from them. I'm going to give them something. If I'm going to give the ordinary brother that is with me, or sister, whoever wins the car, just give them my car. It'll let you know I ain't out to take nothing. I'm going to give her. First thing I'm giving is this. Giving it to you. If you accept it, I'm going to make you just like me. I don't be the man with all the power. We got power together. We going to turn this planet around. Planet, not just white folks or just North America. The planet's got to be turned around.
Lastly, and real quickly, if the black man is a god, is the black woman a goddess?
Yes, sir. She's a goddess. In real terms, in Islam, the black man is a Muslim. The black woman is a true believer. Because a Muslim is he who submits entirely to do the will of Allah. A sister can't do that. Just for the time of month that she comes into. She can't do it. It stops her. So she cannot be a Muslim. However, she can be right next to the Muslim, which makes her a true believer. Or cleanliness is next to godliness, and this is our woman. She's supposed to be clean, but she's right next to us.
The reason why I asked that question, because on one of the tapes, you said that the black woman ain't God, but she's the wife of God.
Yes, sir. She's the wife of God. Otherwise, there's many ways of explaining it. You can say she's a goddess. You always got to add something to it. Like if you say she, he is in she. If you say her, he is in her. If you say one man, man is in that. So it's always something got to be added to them. But with you, I can say man, he, him, but you will never have to put her in.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Is it real quick? Okay. Speed.
Brother Solomon, who is Satan in the flesh? And then also I have a picture dating back to 72 of a brother driving trucks to the city delivering fish, and many of us believe that it could possibly be you, and I want to make arrangements for you to see the picture.
Well, it very well could have been, here in Denver?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, it wasn't me. I never delivered no fish here in Denver. I was all on the East Coast, down south. I think one time at West, but it wasn't here in Denver. Now, and Satan that's in the flesh is Silas Muhammad. At this particular time, I think he's in Atlanta, Georgia. He has the Lost Found Nation of Islam. He is supposed to do what he's doing. He is not to be made fun of, but he's to be a man that you stay away from. He is Satan. He is not the devil. He is the author of the devil in its fullness. Now, I can go into a whole teaching about that. However, we don't have the time. The man you need to deal with is me. If you can't deal with me one-on-one, call the 800 number, 1-800-331-7668. It's on the tape. Listen to the tape. When you get to the end, you hear the number and feel like call. Get a tape, whatever you need to get, but stay in touch. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Assalamu alaikum.